I'm here with the CEO of Embraer, Mr. Curado. Can you tell me, 2006 was the best year that you've ever had in aviation when you won 189 orders. This year you've had about 60 orders so far until the beginning of the show. What can we expect out of the show from you? Are you going to get more orders here, and is there any chance of coming close to your 2006 year now?
Well, hopefully, as you know, orders, they materialize in revenues typically 2 years down the road. So 2008 was our best year as far as revenues. So the market's looking more positive now. We are announcing in this air show about 20 new orders, diverse different countries. Talking about orders from Indonesia, orders from Kazakhstan, also from leasing companies. So some 20 firm plus 30 LOIs, which have a very high chance to become firm as well. So we could add another 20 or potentially 50 orders on top of those 60 you mentioned, making us, that's a very good first semester for us.
Okay, geographically, are you seeing the spread of customers change over the years? I mean, people are talking about emerging market customers being much more active in the market now than 10, 20 years ago. Where is your greatest growth coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. There is well, in the past, no airplane program could survive without the U.S. market, and this is no longer an absolute truth. Demand in Asia is very strong. Demand in Latin America is very strong. Middle East was going well, of course, with now the Arab Spring and all that. This is a little bit on hold. But as far as volume and growth rates, Asia and Latin America are the growth markets as well. Europe, United States are pretty much stable at a lower base. Okay.
You mentioned the U.S. actually. Delta, you're competing with a huge campaign for Delta for, I think, as many as 100 jets, possibly more. What, do you think you have a good chance you're competing against, of course, Airbus and Boeing in that competition. Do you have you think have a chance with Delta?
Well, I think, yeah, chance. I think we do have a chance. We have, several airplanes there, flying for them directly and indirectly. E-jets, 175s, 170, 175s. Our airplanes, they are very suitable to what they need as far as the, mission payload and range requirements. But as you said, it's going to be a very, very tough competition. It's not only, ourselves, Boeing and Airbus. There's also other alternatives. So that's going to be a tough one. But we're going to fight hard.
Now, right now, your biggest jet goes up to 122 seats, but you have said many times that you're looking at the market for the possibility of launching a 150-seater, which is in the really prime sweet spot for the big manufacturers. What are your thoughts on that? You've said in the past that you're waiting to see what Boeing does. What is your best guess as to what Boeing's going to do and whether you might go into that market?
Yeah, this is really probably the most complex decision we have to make in the next several years. Going against Boeing and Airbus head-to-head competition, it's really tough. Not only because of the size of the companies, but the existing product line and their industrial capacity. They can really, have a very quick response to the market and literally flood the market, as actually they are doing now, because both are ramping up production to 40 plus, 42, I think, aircraft a month. This is some 1,000 airplanes a year. That's a lot of airplanes in a single year. So far the E-jets, going up to 120 seats, we're pretty much, adjacent to where they are. To go into more of the heart of their market, we or anyone would need a very compelling case as far as product, driven by technology or by something else that would, have an airplane that has to be much better than their airplanes, which is also something which is hard to see because, they obviously have also a leading edge technology. So, we are very cautious about that. Maybe, stretching out a little bit, our E-jets family could be an alternative. But if we see a business case in maybe launching a new aircraft, not let's say to 150 seats, something a little bit smaller. So between where we are now and where the center of gravity of their product line is, if we see a business case there, then we may decide to launch. It's as I said, it's a tough exercise.
You also mentioned possibly stretching out the jet you have now. Might you look at putting the Pratt geared turbofan on your plane, or?
Yeah, if we decide to re-engine or engine and rear wing, or in other words, to develop a new version of our E-jets.
Right.
One key element would be to decide which engines or which combination of engines, not necessarily just one, maybe more, maybe two alternatives. This is part of the whole decision.
Okay,
the
so
whole
that
business case.
you could look at the LEAP-X as well for.
Well, yeah, depending on the size of the airplane, we may need some higher thrust, and then that would put us in the CFM camp rather than the pure G. But we are right at that interface where
Okay.
How much can we stretch the E-jets, and there's a technical element there, which is a 4 versus 5 abreast fuselage. The bigger we become, the more compelling is the case for the 5 abreast aircraft. So
Right.
Technically, we cannot go too much further away with our 4 abreast fuselage.
Okay, and this is actually becoming a very crowded market. I mean, if you have a look, not only do we have Airbus and Boeing sort of a little bit at the bottom end, but we've got Mitsubishi going in there now with 70 seats. Superjet, which has a plane here at the show now, has just started. They entering into service in April. We've got the Russians going in there, not just with Sukhoi, but MS-21 on the upper end. Do you think that there's really enough space in that, enough buyers in that category to sustain all these competitors, or do you think that there's going to be somebody falling out of the market?
I think if everybody comes in, it's probably too many players. I mean, the market's not that. Just look at our balance sheet. I mean, the market's not that large to accommodate many more competitors. We have like 4 large players now, and to think about 6 or 7, it's hard to see a viable case for everyone. So then I think the major question is, well, if this is true, maybe some of the new entrants, we rely on governmental support, and then we have a problem as an industry, because if there is there are frameworks in the WTO and also in the OECD as far as government participation in sales finance, and I think with this WTO panel, the EU versus the US, there will also be some sort of framework as far as funding for new programs, for development of new programs. So what we cannot have in the industry is a government subsidizing its industry and creating imbalance in the playing field. So this is something we have to watch.
In the defense market, I mean, the Brazilian government has been cutting financing. How do you stand with that? I mean, do you see good prospects for you in Brazil, and also what other markets globally are you looking to press into?
Yeah, defense for us is a strategic diversification. I mean, we've been doing that for over 40 years now, but as far as size, it's about 10 to 15% of our total business. We want to increase that to something close to 20% or so. It's a good moment in Brazil because the budget for defense is growing. The armed forces, they do need to refleet, and not only the Air Force, but the Army and the Navy. So there's an opportunity there. And as we develop new solutions, new platforms, new systems for our own Brazilian armed forces, then we will have also export platforms to other countries. So this is a clear vector. We are developing, as far as product, the KC-390 is a cargo airplane, military cargo airplane. Has, in our point of view, a very important potential because it's the size of the C-130, the Hercules, and it's a potential replacement for their airplane over the next several decades. Not for the whole 2,000-3,000 aircraft flying today, but for maybe several hundreds. And the development is going very well so far.
Good. You would announce some suppliers at the show, maybe?
Maybe.
Okay.
We have announced several, so
okay.
maybe if documentation is ready,
okay.
we will. Otherwise, we will postpone it.